Hey, it's Jaabo, and it's time for BrickTsar Answer Thingy. That's where you ask me questions and I answer them. And I'm wearing my BrickTsar Sig Fig shirt. This is the classic space tee. This thing is not as old as the channel, but it's getting up there. I think I've had this shirt for 10 years and I've worn it a lot. And I probably need to get a replacement for it. And don't ask me where I got it because I forgot. So we're going to answer. I got a whole slew of questions that people have asked. I am about 3 weeks behind on doing this. I did want to do it every week. This is going to air on Sunday, the last day of June. So maybe I could just do it where these are on Sunday. I was doing them on Wednesday. Anyway, that's enough of that. First one is from Job Data, who is a channel member. And again, I answer all the questions that I can. Doesn't matter if you're a member or not. Job Data just happens to be a member. And the question is, do you also have the Fabuland tribute minifigure? And at first when I first read the question, I thought about the Fabufan that's in the one of the Lego movie sets. I forget which one it's in. I have that figure, and also, which I think what he might be referring to is the one that was in the anniversary set that you could get like it Walmart had a bunch of them. I don't know if other stores had them, but they had all the different builds of different micro builds of different sets over the years. And there was a Fabuland elephant, I think, was one of them. But yes, I have that entire set, if that's what you mean. Next one is from Ian Wasink, and it says, "How many times can a standard Jaabo T-shirt be folded in half until it cannot be folded in half anymore?" So that's the two factorial thing problem. I think you probably only fold a shirt 4 times before you can't fold it anymore. Because shirts or anything, every fold is you're doubling and then you're doubling. So the second fold is quadruple what the first one was, and the third fold is 8 times, and the fourth one is 16. So I don't think you could do 4. I don't think you could do 4. It's like, how many times can you fold a piece of paper? I think 11 is the record, and that was might have been more. I think one of the Mythbusters did something, but basically, when you get to a certain point, your sheet of paper would go all the way to the moon, and it's not that many folds to get to the moon, which is not possible with a single sheet of paper. Um, folding is a whole science, I think. A Brick Time asks, "How much money do you think you have spent on tipper truck sets and parts?" Just curious. It's a lot. Uh, I counted after I built the last batch of them. I have 1,888 tipper trucks, not counting the ones on the shelf, and not counting tipper truck TV, not counting the train. So there's over 1,888 tippers. And I build them pretty much for less than $5 a tipper. But if you want to round up to $5 a tipper, it's like $10,000. It's sad. Random Stuff 7791. "Beautiful cat. Is that a rag doll?" And that's a recent video. So we've had 2 cats on the channel. We had Chrissy, was a little gray Maine Coon, and she died. And Charlie, our current cat, who I think's got a little Maine Coon in him. I don't know what he is, but as a spoiler alert, that's the other set I bought. I bought the tuxedo cat because he resembles a little bit of the tuxedo cat, but I don't know what Charlie is. All cats are mutts, right? This is from Keith Semino. It says, "I pieced together set 432 without the tree or correct base plate. Is the yellow train station? It's the yellow train station from 1969. So I've done a video on that set. It's a train station and it's yellow with red windows and doors. It says, "Do you have that one?" I thought, "Do you have one?" I said, I think I commented back, I have two. I have two of the yellow train station. There's also another train station or building that's in another set from close to that era, the Ambassador set 080. There's actually like 3 or 4 buildings in that one. I don't remember what color it was. Did a video on that one as well. All right, here is one from Nancy Dacey, 2780. Says, I have a lot of buyers that don't leave me feedback. I don't know why, but I always leave feedback. I'm trying to figure out how to cancel an order where I refunded the buyer already. Any suggestions? And Bargain Hunt Bricks actually answered her question for you. It's a little different on Bricklink now. I've had people where they've sent me stuff like I bought from them, and then they marked it as completed. I'm like, how can you mark it? How can the seller mark it as completed like the same day the order was placed? But basically, it comes down to sometimes it's changing the status to ready, and that's what I think they mentioned there. Just change it to ready, and then you can do all the things you need to do. But and then I think that she might have been responding to a video where we talked about feedback. But yeah, thank you for answering her question, Bargain Hunt Bricks. Here's one. I don't know the username. User one, i.e., it's one of those handles, YouTube handle. It says, "Wait, Jaabo was young once. 32 years old. Wow." I think it was a video where I mentioned I was 32, and if you didn't see that video, I think that was another BrickTsar answer thingy. No, it wasn't. It was Should You Criticize video. But I was alone pretty much in the Lego collecting world for over half of my life. And I still got to go about 6 more years before I have spent half of my life with other people. So it's, yeah. I was a lonesome Lego collector for most of my life. Johnny G, 2501, says, every time you say space, oh, no, wait. He said, every time you say space instead of space, I feel cheated, LOL. Is it wrong for me to feel such a way? No. And we can all blame Alex for that. Here's one from London Moore. Why do you buy so many tipper trucks even though you have thousands already? LOL. It's a disease. Here's one from Lewis the Brickman. He says, hey Jaabo, I love these question and answer videos. Question, do you keep a record of all the vintage sets you have, say everything up to the year 2000? Thanks, Lewis. I am trying to. I do have most of them cataloged, but not all of them. So in thinning out the collection, it's going to help me to do those things. And he said year 2000. I got this book here, and this came out in 2008. I think there are more Lego sets that have come out since 2008 than what are in this book. And this book is everything ever made up until 2008, except for there are some weird items that I think got left out of this book because they're so obscure. But yeah, Lego has made so much. So 2007 really begins a new era of Lego. So yeah, anything before that, I usually keep at least one copy of, and we're really working on cataloging it. I have a brick set list. The brick set list is way off again because I've sold a lot of the stuff that's on there. So I have no idea how many sets I have anymore. It's still in the thousands, and I do want to have a better catalog of the vintage set. And that's how I mentioned it in a previous video, I end up buying duplicates of things because I don't think I have them. I had a BJ, he sent me a message on Instagram. He found this Duplo set that he couldn't find in the catalog. And I couldn't find it anywhere. Not on BrickSet, nowhere. Except for Macari, so I bought one. So that'll be an upcoming. So there are things that aren't even in catalogs, like BrickSet, Piron and Lugnet are old websites where you can keep track of things, and they're very outdated, but BrickSet's usually the best, and even it doesn't have all of the sets. Florian says, I don't think you know how many overpriced sets there are. Have you looked at the rest of the recently added? I think there are a lot of overpriced sets, but that set, the Quinjet, was utterly ridiculous. ridiculous. Yeah, it's such a small set. But yeah, there are sets that you're like, why is it this price? And there's other sets that you're like, wow, this was a pretty good deal. I mean, I know a lot of people. I don't have it's over here, so you can't see the new truck. It's $100, and that's borderline expensive. But the Costco price 75. It's like, man, that's actually a pretty good price for that set. So it's rare nowadays that you buy a Lego set and you're like, oh, I don't feel like I paid too much for that. Most sets are expensive or overpriced. That would just happen to be that Quinjet. Oh my goodness, that's way overpriced. Here's one from Gordon Warner. He says, is it possible to actually build the Fabuland village? And is a broom really the best tool for a homeless gardener pig? That was in that Fabuland video. So that Fabuland instructions showed a village, and it is an interesting question. Could you build this hand-drawn village with parts that Lego made? I bet you they took liberty with their art in that picture. Might have to revisit that. Blah 1. This is regard the boat, which is still sitting on the table. He says, build it and enjoy it. Can always part it out afterwards. I do this for the sets I don't like to keep, but I'm not a seller either. Then, of course, if you did build it, does that mean it's used status? So, yes. I mean, yeah, I could technically take it apart, and you might not notice that the parts are new. You know, like assembled once. Yeah, they would look new, but I would know. So I think it's a good practice if you build something and take it apart. If you list those parts for sale, list it as used. And any built set should be listed as used, because it is. It'd be kind of hard to list something as new when it's assembled. And like, wait a minute, how did you assemble it? But then that goes to things like minifigures. If you assemble a minifigure, that's why some people say that's not new, because you assembled it. But a lot of times you assemble the minifigures so you can keep them together, make sure you have all the parts, and most people aren't ever going to take them apart again. Anyway, and I was listing something for sale on eBay recently, and they have this category under comic books for like new. Very good, like new. That's different than the grading. But you can list it as like new, but you can't put like new in the title. It makes just why can't I list it as like new, but I can't describe it as like new? I know I think it's because people game the YouTube, or not the YouTube, but people game the YouTube algorithm, but the eBay algorithm by putting words like new in a listing and it's not new, or it's like selling something that's not Lego and having Lego in the title. That's misleading. Like, not Lego. You can even say it's not Lego or like Lego. And yeah, it's a little misleading because that makes it search in the Lego category when it's not Lego. All right, here's one from Phil from Charlotte. I wonder where he's from. It says, have you thought of moving your Lego collection out of the basement and into a commercial building? This way you and many others can see your vintage and Fabuland Lego collection in all its glory. Maybe sell tickets to people to see it to fund the collection. Remember, if you build it, they will come. Phil from Charlotte. Where are you from, Phil? I have dreamed of that. I mentioned this several times on the channel. There was a strip mall, small strip mall. I call it a strip mall. It was a building that had like 10 or 12 places where you could rent them for whatever. Some people use them for offices. They could be retail spaces. And I thought about renting them. At the time that they were built, they were $1,300 a month. And at the time they were built, I was making about $8,000 or $9,000 a month on YouTube. And I thought about it, and I'm glad I didn't because my YouTube crashed right after that. They were only 1,300 square feet. The basement is like 1,700 square feet. So it's like I would have been a smaller space than what I have here. Plus, I would have been paying on top of my house. So it would be nice to have a place like that. I wish there was a place that I could go, like they already had it, and they say, hey, set up here. We could have like a museum, like say an antique mall. Sometimes these buildings are large and have to set up a room, but then I worry about losing stuff. More hands means more pilfering, and that's why I was like, you know what? I just like having the private collection. I do want to share. I would love to show it to people. It's not really viewable right now. Like, even if you came over to my house right now, it's not going to be that enjoyable of an experience. Because if you've watched, say somebody's watched every video I've ever made and you've seen all this stuff, you're like, oh, I want to come over and see it. And I'm like, it's packed away in a cardboard box. It's not very appealing. But having more space would make it possible to view. And that's, I know there's other YouTubers that have gotten the space. I just can't afford it because I don't make enough. I looked at one of my recent videos. It had 1,000 views, and I wanted to see what 1,000 view video got. It actually made $6.85, which I was like, that's actually pretty good for 1,000 views. If it was 10,000, that would be $60, $68. And if it was 100,000, that would be $680. And if it was a million, that would be $6,800. And I was like, man, if I could just get million view videos again. In my career on YouTube, I think I got 40 something, like 45 videos that have reached 1 million views that are not shorts. I don't think those count. Long form videos, and that's when the channels were doing really good, when I was getting those videos that went I call them semi-viral. They're not TDBricks level of virality, but they were pretty good for me. Oh yeah, there it is. The vintage set 646, I think was the video. 1,000 views. One of my most underperforming videos recently, but it still made $6.80. Johnny G says, do you like money or building Legos more? Yeah, building. So that's why I built the boat, because I would have made more money, but I built it. So that's a good point, actually. Rocky 1790, do you have this 2700 Duplo tipper train? Yes, and I actually did a video on it. And this is the problem with this shirt every day, is I'm not making the most optimal thumbnails for my channel, because I have a different goal this year. It's not to gain subscribers or to help people find a video that is something that they're looking for. It's to show us different shirts in every. I actually got a t-shirt sponsor reaching out to me. I may go with them. I don't know. It's one we've done in the past. But anyway, the 2700 train, I did a video on it, but it's kind of hard to tell from the thumbnail. But if you search it on my channel, you'll find the double Duplo tipper train set 2700. We did do a video on that one, and it was this year actually. One clever pig says, are you single-handedly upholding the They Might Be Giants merch store? How many shirts of theirs do you have? Yes, I am, apparently. I do have a lot of They Might Be Giant shirts, and we don't know how many I have. There's one sitting on the table right there. Oh, no, that's a Ryan George one. I got more coming. There's more They Might Be Giant shirts. It's got to be at least 30, isn't it? Isn't it at least 30? How many have I wore this year already? And I still got more back there. But it's like I view my support of They Might Be Giants, perhaps like those of you that are channel members that support me despite the lack of quality that I give you. I'm not saying that They Might Be Giants isn't quality, but I've been supporting them for almost 40 years. I joined their CD of the Month Club in 1994. And I did the CD of the Month Club. There was one of the CDs was Flansburgh and one was John Linnell. But there were all these others. I made recordings of all of them, except for a couple of them that I didn't like. I think I recorded all of them. And then after a while, I was like, I'll sell them. I did learn some. I found some things that I liked that were good, but yeah, I've supported them through that, things like that, the newsletter, the T-shirts, and other merch. Yeah, you support things that you are proud of, that you like. Here's one from Conrad. Make sure I didn't miss one here. It says, "Hey Jaabo, can you do an update video on this haul? I like how you sorted it or away, or maybe a tour of your parts collection." And he's got a crying laughing emoji. So I'd love to see your crazy rare parts collection. Those things that I got from Nicholas are still in the box over there. So it's a long process. It's sad. I haven't sorted it. Actually, Nicholas' stuff was already sorted. I did sort some of the stuff I got from Goodwill recently. I was started sorting it away, but I just need to get a space cleared out so that I can have a place to all in one place put the parts where I can access them and look for them. It says, Johnny G, selling any empty boxes from the parted out sets? That's the question. I have some sets that I parted out a while back that I never destroyed the boxes, but I just unless they're vintage, like the boxes. I'm trying to see if I had one nearby. Like these all of these here. A box like that never, ever would I throw it away. I might have thrown it away in 1982. The Jack Stone box. Not going to throw that away. And then this box I got from Geology Joe. These are kind of boxes. Yeah, if I had extra boxes of these, I would probably sell them. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll just leave it there for now. But in general, the new Lego boxes, like this is an empty box. I meant to do a video on this guy and I never did. The Death Star 2. Even though it's an exclusive set, these boxes just don't have the appeal to me, the collectability. I do keep one of every set that I own, but the ones I part out like this, yeah, whatever it's worth isn't worth waiting until somebody's willing to buy it. Now, I did keep like the Coliseum and some other UCS sets that I parted out. I did keep those boxes, but I'm starting to regret it. Like, how would I even ship that? Would you? I got them folded down right now. Would I put it back the size of a box? So, and I see them for sale. I see boxes for sale. You know, people. There's probably somebody got one like this for sale, but it's not worth the minimal amount that you would get for the space that it takes to store them and the time. And so instead, I make a video destroying boxes. I've done at least 2 videos destroying boxes, and yet I've parted out hundreds upon hundreds of sets since then, and I've not done a video. I often thought about like that. Said, should I do a video destroying these boxes before I take them up to the recycle place? So Gordon Warner asked another good question. So the LEGOLand California truck, which is built like this one. I had another comment. I don't know if it's on this video, but the original LEGOLand show truck had a headlight brick, and I didn't catch it when I did the video, but the muffler, the exhaust there is actually a different piece, even though it looks the same. So here's the updated version. It's got a connection pin to go into a Technic brick instead of a headlight brick. So thank you everybody that pointed that out. But the LEGOLand California truck is like the 1997 version, so it would have had, pretty sure it would have had a headlight brick, even though I don't know where the truck's in the other place. But yeah, it would have had a headlight brick for that instead. Jason's Bricks and 5. First, why was there no whistling in the dark? That was in my video, my lighting video. It says, next, lighting does look good, but it certainly isn't for everyone. It can get quite complicated. Also, glad we learned that 40 years without using something is the Jaabo threshold for discarding crap you don't need. So I'm going to throw away my electronics. And he says, yes, Brian is very talented with all things electronic. Last thought, sad there have been no comments on Sapphire Bullets, Triangle Man, or Road Movies to Berlin. Yes, very sad with that video. I did, on one of my other channels, when I went to the They Might Be Giants show right before COVID broke out. One of the last shows they did before the COVID outbreak in 2020. They performed, it's the first time I heard them perform Sapphire Bullets backwards. They played the music backwards and they sang it backwards. And then, so it's a thing they do now. The last time I went to a show, not only did they perform it backwards, they record it, and then in the second half of the show, they play it on video reversed so that it plays normal. So I got a video somewhere of that where I showed it how it was live, and then I reversed the video. If anybody knows this, the Sapphire Bullets is a traditional style They Might Be Giant song. It's about a minute or so long. It's not really that long, but just think of how long it took them to learn to play it backwards and sing it backwards. Where when you reverse it, it kind of sounds like Sapphire Bullets. Pasta Jensen, what camera are you using? I was like, I need a camera to show my camera, or a mirror. It's an iPhone 14. Whatever the current iPhone is that I have, that's what I'm using on these videos. Joseph D27, do you have a Lego Yellow Truck collection video? Yes. I just haven't updated it since the last 3 trucks I've gotten. Drum Beats, Drew Betts, he says, would the chrome stacks be different too, since one of them goes in a headlight brick and one goes in a Technic brick? Again, the yellow trucks. Very good. I did not catch that when I made the video. There probably are some other minor differences with some of the parts in there that I missed as well. But yes, it was a good catch. I would have never known it if he hadn't commented on my video. John Vocatura says, why did you build that? And again, I think we're talking about the boat. Hold on, I'll set this down. Because I'm stupid. Pondcut 5074, are you going to make instructions for any of these? No, I'm not. That's actually the Seatron video. Those were built by Daniel. This thing keeps messing up. CamGuy99, Jaabo, where is the best place to get one of those Lego collector books you have on the table? I can never seem to find them in my local bookstores. Any suggestions? You're probably never going to find this in a bookstore. It's possible, but very unlikely, because most Lego collectors don't part with them. So, and it doesn't come up for sale that often on eBay or Bricklink. And if it does, if people notice it, it's usually expensive for a book of this type. There is a second version, which has a blue brick on the cover. You might be able to get that one a little cheaper, even though I don't even think it had as much production run as this one, but it's updated. So it actually has more pictures in it than this one does, and it might actually have some sets that aren't in this one. The updated collector's guide, so the second edition, look that one up. You can definitely get it new cheaper, which is still expensive, but yeah, to get a new one of that, especially the hardback, it's very rare. More rare than Mr. Gold. That's how rare. Chris Cummings, 4206. My question, have you been able to clean out your daughter's old room? No. I mean, it's clean. I haven't. The real question is, have I messed up my daughter's old room? No. There's no Lego in there. It's kind of like a guest room right now. So we want to keep that room as a bedroom. So when we have people that spend the night, they got a place to go. And actually, when my daughter and her husband spend the night, it's still her room. We still call it Sarah's room. And they come up at least at once a month, sometimes more, because my son-in-law works near here. I was so sad because we're keeping Milo this weekend that I'm filming this, and he was on the way home from he's a fireman. He was on the way home, and this guy pulled out in front of him and messed up their car. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. It's just the inconvenience of dealing with an accident where your car is not drivable. I mean, fortunately, the airbags didn't go off in his car, even though, the guy pulled out in front of him and it smashed in the front end. I don't know how the airbags didn't go off, but the car was not drivable. in the condition it was in because the front end kind of came down and all that. And long story to tell you, I get to keep Milo all week. So they got to go deal with the car and stuff. So Milo's actually taking a nap when I'm filming this. Love my family, so love to still have them have a room they can come over, and when they do that, it says I don't watch every one of your videos. This is from Candy Crusher. He said I don't watch every one of your videos, but I've watched a lot over the years. I didn't realize your collection was spreading to the upstairs. Have you got a variance for this? That's funny how these questions. I did not put these back to back on purpose, but I got stuff upstairs right now that needs to come back. So upstairs, I'll take stuff upstairs to sort, to part out, to build, and then sometimes it kind of stays there. My wife's very patient with me. There is a ton of stuff in the sitting area of our bedroom right now. That's where all the eBay stuff is. I'm trying to clear. What I'm trying to do is clear out a space down here, some shelves to put the eBay stuff on. I was totally not prepared to start selling on eBay again. It's like with the Bricklink store, it's got a designated area, and it's nice with eBay. The danger is the more you list, then somebody buys something, you're like, oh wait a minute, where did I put that? I've seen that where people sell on eBay and then they can't find the item they listed because they've added so many other things to the store. It's like, if you're only selling a few things, it's like, oh yeah, it's on the shelf, I can go get it. Like you got 5-10 things, you can find it, but I got 50. I got up to 50 on eBay, and then that's when you're like, oh, these two are similar. Like with the train cars I'm selling, I had two that looked identical, and they're both railway post offices, same railroad, but they had different numbers. So you gotta make sure you get the right one. And somebody did buy one, and I was like, oh, make sure I get the right one. But so like with Bricklink, I got designated drawers or boxes are all numbered. Don't have that with eBay. So it does become a challenge. And this question was not about that. But I got to get stuff upstairs. You want to keep the house looking respectable. You don't look like the basement. Mayo asks, did you price the venator to sell on eBay? Apparently I did, because it sold. It was... The person paid $636 free shipping. So after the fees, I think I got $500 for it, which is better than I could have ever got on Bricklink. And I know some people ask, why am I selling on eBay? That's why, because I can even after all the fees, I can get a better price than parting out the things. And if they don't sell, then I'll put them on Bricklink. Tony Montana. This is on one of the old videos, the vintage Lego House 324. He said, I have most of the parts to recreate it, but the car is really expensive. Yep. HO scale car in that set. He says, does anyone know an alternative car of a similar scale? Would a Matchbox car be of similar size? Now I'm going to keep talking, see if I can find it over here. So I'm not even on camera anymore. I guess here it is. Milo's been playing with this on the train. So we had a major derailment. He took all the train cars off the HO scale. This is a HO scale plastic car. This is from, it's probably like Lifelike or one of the generic toy. These are basically not worth anything. So you can find something like this from either a model train shop, eBay. I mean, they're not really worth anything. And this price, so that thing's worth $1,000 because it's the only one they ever made in that color. It's plastic, more plastic than the Lego one, but this is the perfect representation because a lot of the model trains, they model like the 50s and 60s, and so you can find cars from that era which would fit with that house set 324, since it came out in the 60s. Much cheaper. A Matchbox car or Hot Wheels car, those are too big. Did I have a Hot Wheels car up here? Oh yeah, we got the Jurassic Park Jeep. It's hard to do with one hand, but yeah, definitely like the volume wise, like 3 times the volume, double the size. It's not technically double the size, but it's a lot bigger. All right, Fawn Me MC, I can't say the name, says, have you ever thought about getting a booth at a comic book convention? Might be a good way to sell a bunch in a weekend. I have actually done that. Before the internet era, I took comic books and baseball cards to shows. It was not worth the time. I did not have the volume at the time to do it. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have a trailer to do it. So it's, yes, I have thought of it, and it's probably a way that you could get more money, but comic books are heavy. I can see more value like these people that sell Lego at shows. That's probably feasible. And I know there's a lot of people that sell comic books at shows, but those people usually also have a retail store separate or a website where they sell the comic books. So it's a good question. Assist official says, have you talked to your son about the comics? He might be interested in wanting them for the future. Also, he said you could grade your comics and make a lot more money out of them. That's another thing. Grading. All right, first of all, the son, he will have a few comics that he wants, and every now and then, if we come across something he likes, I give it to him. I'm not selling them to him, but so he may want some things that he doesn't even know I have if we come across them. If I see things I think he might like, I usually ask him, or he'll ask me about stuff. Hey, do you have this? I am right now looking for Raw #2. It's one of those comic books that I never would have bought, but I bought a bulk lot of stuff, and I don't know everything that I have. So there's like a less than zero chance that I have it. Probably don't, but I've been looking for it, Raw #2. But anyway, yeah, he's not going to be getting them. And grading is a whole nother thing that I have kind of a negative view of. And there's other people. I'm in the minority with that. And the value I see for people that grade their comics is when they buy it, they know that it supposedly has been checked out. You don't have to worry about the condition. Like stuff I sell, I know people are going to like. I could list it as fine. People are like, is it really fine? Is it good? Has it got wrinkles? I mean, so I try to take pictures of everything. That's another reason I don't like listing comic books. But if you get them graded, then all that's out of the, it's good. But when you grade a comic book, they put it in this case and you can never read it. I'm like, it's kind of like you can never, like having a Lego set that you never open. And I know people collect sealed Lego sets. I have a ton of sealed Lego sets. I've opened way more than I've not opened. So, I mean, it's not even close. And it's like if I was to get all my sealed sets out and just put them in one place, people would be like, that is a lot of sealed sets. But that doesn't even come close to how many Lego sets I've opened. It's not even the tip of the iceberg. I've opened tons of Lego sets. I've built tons of Lego sets. And I think that's what you should do. You should build the Lego. So with the comic books, I think you should read the comic books. But I know when you get that comic book that's worth $500 or more, people are like, be better to grade it. So the problem I have with grading is you have a comic book that's worth $10, maybe. You grade it, and all of a sudden it's worth $100. I'm like, is it really? Is it really worth more because somebody put a number on it? I'm not in the comic book scene. I stopped collecting comic books in March 1996. So that's a long time not to be collecting comic books, and the grading was just beginning when I was getting out of it. So I'm not going to have the same view of grading as people that are into the collection. But I know when I search stuff on eBay, it is hard. It is hard to find completed listings to figure out what the value of my comic book is, because I have to scroll past all the graded stuff that's sold. And so yeah, you could grade it, but it's not worth, like, I got a comic book that's worth $5. I'm going to pay $10 or whatever to get it graded. I'm like, why? Anyway, that's the BrickTsar answer thing. I can't believe I went through all the questions already. Or did I? Yeah, that's all the questions. So I got it's a picture of comic books I had for sale. It's the Conan the Barbarian, the movie. It's not the comic book was a comic scene, Conan the Barbarian. So I'm going to keep trying to list stuff because I do like money more than having comic books. But I don't like money more than building a Lego set. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I'll be back tomorrow in a different shirt. And yeah, I thought about saving this to the end of the year for the final month, but it's worn. Can't wear it again this year. See ya.